Let's take another look at this pulsing dream pad setting again, and just show you a little bit about how you can actually edit the sounds when you're in them. Let's come out of there. That's sort of the keyboard view, wherever we are. Off. There you go. It looks like a normal keyboard. We touched on these in one of the previous videos, but up here on each setting there's a little sort of settings volume knob thing, like a little rotary dial. If you press on that, what happens is it turns the instrument into its kind of editable form. It pulls down all these different options that can be used, which are different according to whichever instrument you're with, but that can help you kind of sculpt the sound a little bit more in more detail, so that you're actually able to control the output a little bit, and it makes it sound a little bit less sort of preset-y, and can actually really help make different sounds and different parts work well against each other. So before I do that, let's just go back to the sequencer window where all the parts are laid out. Let's just solo that, and it'll make it a bit easier to demonstrate what's actually happening when I edit the sounds of that particular part. So let's go back there and let's pull down the settings, and let's just press play, not record, play. So you can see each one of these changes the tone slightly. And because this is a clever piece of kit, it actually has a little description as to what is actually changing slightly within each one. So you've got full, no pad, pad, bass, fast pulse 2, and so on. I will select one at random, just this one here, but you can also do hybrids between the two by just dragging this thing around, and it makes these funny little kind of dust trail things, so that you can see where you are. A bit gimmicky, but you know, still quite handy. So let's just play it on that setting there and see how that came out. Quite like that, because it kind of comes in with a softer note, and then a little bit later the kind of juddery delayed part of it comes in. These settings here all do different things according to whichever setting whichever sound you're using, and yeah, I mean, I could demonstrate these, but all it'll do is just mess up the sound a little bit more, similar to what we were doing before, so I don't really need to worry too much about that. But it's good fun to have a play around with those. And likewise with these, attack, decay, sustain and release are the classic 4 sort of ways of forming sounds to actually make them what you want. In terms of what happens when the note actually starts, that's the attack, whether it starts hard or whether it takes a while to come in. Decay is how quickly the attack runs off. Sustain is what happens when the note is running along, and then release is what happens afterwards. Does it kind of continue after the note stops, or does it stop really suddenly? Those 4 settings are generic to everything, so you'll see ADSR refer to all the time. And yeah, basically it would do the same on this as it would with other things, except here you've got all these 2 little pads that also can alter the sound. So how did that go? Let's listen to it with the bass line. Got a nice little note crunch at the end there, which is actually correct. It actually sounds quite nice, but I think some of the plucked synths will need changing in a second. So that's how you can edit a sound using the Alchemy synth, having pre-recorded a part.